Welcome, everyone, to Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation's Big Little Heroes event. I'm Brian Phelps, and I am honored to be here with you tonight, representing such a wonderful organization. We are going to have some fun. Now, we are with you live from the Oniricom, which is a beautiful space for broadcasting, photo shots, events, that kind of thing. It's really great. You got to stop in and do your thing here when you're around. Now, Oniricom is one of the many small businesses sponsoring tonight's event. So my hope for you is that you maybe pour yourself a glass of wine, maybe make a cocktail, have a vat of Jägermeister. It's totally up to you. All we want is for you to sit back, relax, and enjoy this very, very special evening. Oh, and I urge you to stick around because we're going to be having raffle drawings throughout the night, and all the raffle prizes are from local small businesses. And one other thing, if you don't know, the Santa Barbara Film Festival is happening right now. So check it out. It truly is one of the greatest film festivals around. Now, to deviate off the schedule here, I should let you know that handling the cue cards is one of the staff members, the talented Kirsten. And when I arrived today, she told me a joke. And she said, you could use that if you want. And I said, well, of course I will. Now, this is a family event, so it was a clean joke. In fact, maybe for a lot of you, your kids will get this before you do. And this is Kirsten's joke. A priest, a minister, and a rabbit walk into a bar. The rabbit says, fellas, I think I'm a typo. Thank you. Thank you, Kirsten. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's the kind of night it's going to be. All right, anyway, back to business. Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation has helped so many families through its 19 years. Never more so than in 2020. If you weren't sure about Teddy Bear's ability to help before, you will be when you hear what they accomplished in 2020. And let me just say this. I love this part. I love saying these words to you. In 2020, they delivered meals and grocery gift cards. They doubled their support groups. They provided more funding for more families and delivered more Christmas gifts than any other year in their history. And they did all this with fewer staff, fewer volunteers, and more restrictions. They are amazing. Unbelievable job. Now, with that, I'd like to introduce to you their fearless leader. He's their brand spanking new executive director, Dr. Corey Pahanish. Oh, and by the way, the Jägermeister idea, that was his, all his. He came up with that. So, yeah. Oh, doctor.
Thank you very much, Brian. And I haven't told you this yet, and this is straight from the heart, this is truly a highlight of my career, to be working alongside a brilliant entertainer. And yes, has a large, joyful personality, but come to find out has an even larger heart. And you leveraging both of those things to help us raise much needed resources for an amazing organization tonight is nothing short of a blessing. And we are so, so grateful for you. And I mean that.
You're welcome.
So as Brian mentioned, yes, I am the new guy. Relative to Teddy Bear's nearly 2 decades of service to the Tri-County area. And something that's striking to me early on is just how proud I've become in a pretty short period of time to work for such an amazing organization. It's because we have an incredible staff that have amazing stories of empathic connection to our mission, which we're going to be highlighting tonight. A wonderful, large Rolodex of incredible supporters that always have our back, and a board of directors that are constantly empowering our staff. We are so grateful for you, and I cannot wait to get to work. Now, I know you're not here to see me tonight. However, I want to carve out a little bit of time up front. We are absolutely grateful that you are here joining us tonight. We are here because you are here. And that being said, we absolutely thank you for believing in our mission. United together tonight, we are going to make sure that nobody fights pediatric cancer alone. Now, you'll hear me refer to this a few times throughout the night. It truly does take a village. That being said, I want to highlight some of our advocate sponsors who helped make tonight possible. That includes Carl Storrs Imaging, our Vice President of our Board of Directors, Nathan Rogers, with Rogers, Sheffield, Campbell, LLP, Logic Monitor, and our very own Board of Directors Chairman, J. Paul Janek. Please check out all of our sponsors in the digital program. Our sponsors have made a significant financial contribution. Let's thank them with your business. Now, moving along, it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who's very special to the Teddy Bear family. He actually came to Teddy Bear as the father of someone who was battling pediatric cancer. Now he's actually on our staff, and I'm talking about Dr. Steve. Dr. Steve and Alana, his daughter, have a very special message for us.
If I could tell the world just one thing, it would be that we're all okay. Not to worry, 'cause worry is wasteful and useless at times like these. I won't be made useless. I won't be idled with despair. I'll gather myself around my faith, from lights with the darkness most fears.
My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. I am never broken.
In the end, only kindness matters.
In the end, only kindness matters.
My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. They're not yours, they are my own. And I'm never broken. We are never broken.
Wow, what a beautiful family. Outstanding. Well, you've made it through the first 7 minutes of the program, and you deserve a prize. How about a raffle? Raffle number 1. Where's my cheers? Kind of defeats the purpose when you have to ask them to clap. Raffle number 1 is a 2017 bottle of Melville Pinot Noir. Now, this is exclusive to the Melville Wine Club members. Ooh. Now, I have the bucket of names here. I'm going to draw one, and the winner of the Melville Pinot Noir is Anna Prober. P-R-O-B-E-R. Yeah, Anna.
That's my friend.
Oh, do you know her, Kirsten? She's going to share with you, isn't she? But I'm taking this bottle home. I don't care where they get the other one. But ladies and gentlemen, we have an incredible keynote speaker for you tonight. Jake Olson has a truly amazing story. At 8 months old, he was diagnosed with retinoblastoma. This is a rare form of eye cancer. The disease claimed his right eye before the age of 1, and then after fighting cancer for 12 years, it took his other eye. Now, Jake has not let blindness stop him from achieving his goals. Get this. He's a graduate of University of Southern California, where he studied business. He played on the football team. And in 2017, oh, by the way, fight on. And in 2017, he made history by being the first completely blind player ever to play in a Division I football game. Jake is also a member of the President's Council of Sports Fitness and Nutrition. He has written 2 books, and he started his own charity. Don't I feel like an underachiever? It is my great pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Jake Olson.
Well, thank you so much, Brian. I I don't have a song for you guys, so this is already gonna pale in comparison. You know, I don't know how to follow up that very special performance, but I will try my best. And Brian, if you told me about the cocktails thing a couple of minutes before I got online, that would have really been helpful. So thanks, man. But thank you guys so much for having me. It's truly a pleasure to be here tonight with you guys, with this great organization. When you guys reached out, it really was a no-brainer. As you're going to find out, my story very much runs along lines of your guys' mission and your goals and your vision for how to help families who went through exactly what I went through. And I just want to thank you guys for that. And I will make sure to do that later on as well. Because you mentioned, my story begins when I was 8 months old, and I was diagnosed with a rare form of eye cancer called retinoblastoma. And when the doctors found it, unfortunately, they found it late. So they almost immediately had to remove my left eye because the fear is with retinoblastoma is that it exists in the retina, but can easily move from the retina through the optic nerve into the brain, and from the brain to the rest of the body. And so really the last option to preserve that child's life, to save their life, is the removal of the eye. If treatment's not going to work, you remove the cancer by removing the eye. Obviously, that's the last option because you want to try to save that child's sight by all means. But unfortunately, again, in my case, at just around a year old, they had to remove my left eye because that cancer had progressed so much that treatment wasn't an option. However, my right eye, the cancer was only about half as bad. And so we were able to treat that cancer with some chemotherapy and with some laser treatment, and the cancer did go away, which was awesome. And it stayed away for a couple of years. But unfortunately, sure enough, a couple of years later, was at an annual checkup, cancer had returned. And this started a vicious cycle for the rest of my childhood of treating that cancer, again, with treatments like chemotherapy, laser treatment, radiation, cryotherapy, flying to New York for experimental treatment sometimes, which was intraarterial chemotherapy at the time. We did everything we could. But eventually, when I was at the age of 12 years old, so now, 12 years later, 2009, that cancer returned for its 8th time. And so finally, the doctors at the age of 12 now told me, we can't treat this cancer anymore, that we had exhausted all treatment options, that there's no more options. And just like when I was a child, a little baby with my left eye, they were now going to have to remove my right eye to save my life, to prohibit that cancer from spreading to the rest of my body and taking my life. So here I was left as a 12-year-old who battled this cancer for 12 years, who was constantly in and out of the hospital, getting checkups, receiving treatment, fighting to save my eyesight. And here I am now being told I was going to have to lose that eyesight anyways. And that was a devastating message. As you can imagine, not only was it devastating because of my age, the age of 12, but as I just mentioned, I was very frustrated given how hard we had just fought for my entire childhood to try to save this eyesight. So I was very frustrated. I was very angry because of that as well. I was very sad. I remember sorrow came over me just because I did realize I had the rest of my life in front of me, and I had used my eyesight up to the point of the age of 12. Sometimes it was better than other times given the treatment, but I did use what I had of eyesight. And I started thinking, well, now I'm going to live the rest of my life without that eyesight. And I'm not going to be able to see my parents anymore. And I'm not going to be able to see my friends anymore. And I'm not going to be able to see another sunset or myself graduate from high school or college. I'm not going to be able to see my wedding or what my wife looks like. And that was a lot of thoughts that came in like that made me really sad. And along those lines, I was also very scared because of the uncertainty those thoughts brought on from the standpoint of, well, I'm not going to be able to go to school and see the whiteboard. I'm not going to be able to play the sports like I've been playing them. I'm not going to be able to play with my friends like I've been playing with them. I don't know how I'm going to continue to live life without sight. So here I was again as a 12-year-old who was frustrated about the situation, angry that all that work we grew up going through, all that stuff we went through was, I guess, for nothing. And then was sad and scared about the situation in the future. But I also was a 12-year-old who, in that 12 years of battling cancer, grew a fighting spirit and overcame that cancer. And so I knew I could battle through this adversity as well, going blind. And I knew I had the mindset and the principles, again, I talked about that I learned growing up, but I also knew I had an amazing support system around me that had been there for me through all that cancer, and that was going to be there for me now going blind. So with that, I knew there was hope. I knew I could rely on my faith like I had been my entire life, and I was going to move forward past this. And so that mindset I took almost immediately, although again, I was talked about the emotions I did have, but the love and support that had been surrounding me for the last 12 years showed its face almost immediately. And as a little 12-year-old, finding out I was going to have to go blind, it was about a month and a half from when I found out I was going to have to go blind to the surgery in which they were going to take my final eye. And so I could ask you guys to think about, what would you like to do if I told you you only had about a month and a half left to see? For me, being the big sports fanatic I am, I wanted to go see a UCLA game. No, I'm kidding. April Fools. No, USC. Just making sure you're paying attention. So I wanted to see another USC game. And somehow that wish kind of reached head coach Pete Carroll at the time. And he really made that wish turn into much more than just seeing a USC game, but made me an honorary member of that team as a little 12-year-old, being with those players, my heroes, my favorite team growing up in Southern California. And I was just full access, traveling with the team, spending the night in the hotels, in the locker rooms, games, practices, anything and everything you can imagine. And that was just so, so cool to be uplifted by them and to be showed that kind of love and grace in such a dark time. Got to do a lot of other cool experiences in that month and a half. I won't get too much into them right now, but really, really was taken back at how much outpour there was for both my family and me, and the experiences that we were given in that month and a half. But eventually that day did come, and it was a tough day, as you can imagine. But I do remember leaving the hospital that day and realizing I was blind. And I came to the realization that there was now really two roads I could go down living. I could go home. I could feel sorry for myself. I could feel that life cheated me out of what would have been a good life with sight. And because life did that to me, I was going to go home again, sit on the couch, feel sorry for myself, forfeit all my hopes and dreams, and just sulk. And I would be lying to you if I told you I wasn't tempted to do that. It really kind of did seem something maybe I, quote unquote, deserved. But I knew at the very end of the day, no one is satisfied going down that road. And that obviously included me. I was never going to be satisfied going down that road. The second road, in my opinion, is definitely the road worth going down. But it is, in my opinion, also the more difficult road to go down because it requires hard work. It requires resilience. It requires all the tangibles that require you to overcome adversity. And that is going home, realizing, yes, I am blind now. And this is not what I wanted to happen in life. And this is not the life I would have chose, but it's what happened. And therefore, I'm going to go home. I'm going to realize what happened, but I'm going to make a decision that is not going to stop me. It's not going to rob me of my future. It's not going to rob me of my childhood. It's not going to rob me of a life that includes doing the things that I love, a fulfilling, purposeful, meaningful life. That I can continue to do what I want to do in life despite not having sight, that I can still have a vision for my future. I can still exceed in the things that I want to go pursue. I can still create goals that I'm going to go achieve. I'm going to have to work harder than the person next to me because now I don't have sight. And I'm going to have to relearn how to do pretty much everything, from reading Braille to working with a cane to learning how my clothes match to learning when there's food on my fork. Just the simplest of things I was going to have to learn, but I knew I could adapt and I knew I could push forward, and blindness was not going to stop me. And so I made that decision that day that it wasn't going to stop me. And really, when talking about overcoming adversity, that decision, that first decision, is the most important decision. And it's a decision that only you can make. No one else can make that decision for you. Only you can make that decision when you're facing that adversity, when you're facing that cancer, when you're facing the challenges that confront you in life. Only you can make that decision. I'm going to overcome this adversity. I'm going to overcome this adversity. And you have to say it. You really have to say it and believe it. And believe in yourself and the power you have inside yourself to overcome that adversity. So once you've made that decision, now we can kind of talk about the things that I learned to help me overcome my adversity. And I can't wait to, like I said, get into them and connect them to the things that you guys do on a daily basis, which are so special. But really, once I've made that decision, once you made that decision, now it's how do you change the way you look at that adversity you're now confronting, the adversity you're choosing to overcome. And one of my coaches up at SC had a saying he always would say, and it's, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. You can even write that down if you want. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And I know you guys weren't expecting to get a lesson of how to look at things from a blind guy tonight, but here you are. So, but when I hear that, the first thing that comes to my mind is choosing to see the setup in the setback. See, overcoming adversity for me is really recognizing that in every setback, there's a setup waiting to happen. And overcoming adversity is realizing those setups will come and realizing when they do come. I can ask each of you right now to think of a setback that is currently occurring in your life. And I know many of you on the call right now are families who are dealing with cancer, kids who have dealt with cancer. I know it was very special. I was told there's a little girl on this call right now named Camila who literally went through the same thing I went through with retinoblastoma, and that cancer took her eyesight. So Camila, what's up? I'm thinking about you during this speech, and I want you to hear this. But if it's Camila or another family, or maybe you're just a donor here, I want you to think of a setback that's currently occurring in your life. And I want you to understand that, yes, that setback can weigh heavy. Look, living with cancer in my life for the first 12 years of my life weighed heavy. It was constantly a battle of worrying if the cancer was going to go away, when it would come back. What are we going to do when it comes back? Okay, well, this treatment work? What is this treatment going to do for my long-term health? All those variables. And obviously blindness was a big setback in my life, one that I never thought was imaginable. And what I'm getting at here is, if you think of that setback that I've asked you to think about, if you've already decided in your mind that it's permanent, it's immovable, it's going to stop you in life, like that first road I talked about coming home from the hospital, then I'm sorry, guys, to break it to you, but you're right. And that's exactly what it's going to do. It doesn't have to, but if that's the mindset you're going to take, that's what it's going to do. But on the contrary, if you get it in your mind and you choose to see it differently, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change, when you see that setback as something that you can leverage, that you can believe it will bring you to new heights, then that's exactly what it will do as well. It will become a setup in your life, a setup that brings you to new heights that you can't even imagine, more opportunities than you couldn't even think about. I mean, let's put it to the test in my life. Heading into blindness, I recognize blindness representing the biggest setback in my life, like I told you. I also recognize it representing the biggest setup in my life. And it was going to be an opportunity to become the biggest setup in my life. And that's what it's become, a huge setup in my life. Once I faced cancer and went blind, my life opened up to a new life full of amazing opportunities. Let's think about what my life would look like if I never faced that cancer, or if that cancer never took my eyesight. Well, I wouldn't be here speaking to you tonight, that's for sure. I would have never gone to USC. I would have never probably played Division I football. I've never inspired millions by doing so. I know that. I've never written a book or set up a foundation that helps others. I wouldn't have the same friends and family. I wouldn't have the same spirit. I wouldn't be the same man I am today. I wouldn't have any of this. I wouldn't. You know, after I snapped for the first time in the Coliseum, and just to kind of bring you up with speed of my story, after losing my eyesight at the age of 12, I continued to play sports, and I continued to play football even in high school, and eventually was able to walk on as a long snapper onto USC in 2015 because, you know, I put a lot of practice into long snapping, and we'll kind of get maybe into that a little later. But I finally was on the team, and I was practicing really hard, trying to prove myself the first 2 years in college on the team. And finally, my junior year, the time came where I could go out there and prove myself as a long snapper. And sure enough, in the first game against Western Michigan, I did go out there and was able to snap, and it went perfectly, beautifully. It was such an awesome moment. And after the game, a reporter came up to me and, you know, was obviously asking me, you know, Jake, does this feel full circle to you? You know, as a little 12-year-old, here you were, this team put you under their wings, and then here you are 6 years later, 8 years later, on the team, now snapping for this team, inspiring millions of other little kids who once were in your position. Does this feel full circle? And I said, of course it does. Of course it does. And while answering that question, I kind of said something, and I said, if you can't see how God works things out, I think you're the blind one. And it's true. There are setups to your setbacks. There absolutely will be. I'm not promising they happen tomorrow. I'm not promising they happen next week or even next year. Guys, for me, it was 12 years of going through that cancer, of not understanding why after the 6th, after the 7th, after the 8th time of this thing coming back, after all the chemo, after all the radiation, after all the treatment, why couldn't this cancer just stay away? Why couldn't it just stay away? And it was frustrating. And then to be told after all that, again, I was going to go blind. And I didn't know what those setups were going to be. I had no idea. I was not privy to them, but I knew they were going to come as long as I saw what I went through and was going through as something that was going to set me up to see those one day. And that's exactly what they became. Huge setups. Helen Keller has a quote. She says, "We live in a broken world full of suffering. It is also full of overcoming." And guys, again, I know we've all witnessed, been in that broken world full of suffering, but there is that world full of overcoming, and it's a beautiful, beautiful world. And it is your choice to get to that world full of overcoming. It is your choice. Now I say that, and I always say it is my choice to take that step forward. It was my choice coming home from the hospital today to take that step forward to overcome blindness. But I would not be here if I didn't make that choice, but I also would not be here if it weren't for those friends and family and the support system around me that helped me every step of the way. I already talked about what USC did for me, a lot amongst other people, but my friends and family were there for me throughout my entire childhood. And I would not be here today if it weren't for them. And that's what I want to get to with this organization as well. There are so many things that my friends and family were able to do because of some of the freedoms and the support that the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation provides to the families that they support. One, financially. Guys, my parents were very fortunate to be well off. My mom's a chiropractor. She worked full time. My dad is in business. He worked full time. A lot of people ask me, what do you think went through your parents' head when you were going through all this, Jake? And to be honest with you guys, I don't even want to think about it. I tell the people, I don't even want to think about it. It was hard for me, but and to be completely honest, I think it was probably easier for me because it's my life. I knew what I was feeling. I knew I could overcome it. To have a baby, I don't have kids. I can't imagine what the emotional connection you do have with your kid, but I cannot imagine what was going through their heads as they were told as your little 8-month-old baby has bilateral retinoblastoma. And then for the next 12 years, they saw me go and battle that cancer. That had to be so hard on them. And the last thing I know I would want a parent to feel as they're watching their baby fight for their lives and go through hell is worrying about the financial system, their financial system at home. They don't need to worry about their financials. They have enough to worry about. And so I think it's so awesome what you guys do. Take that burden off of them. Let them focus on what really matters, and that's the health of their child, the health of their baby. So I want to applaud you guys for that because, again, my parents were very fortunate where my dad could work. My mom would mostly kind of take off work, but they were financially stable enough where that wasn't necessarily an issue. But we're going to get kind of the emotional side now. But what financial freedom allows them to do as well is be there for me. Be there for me. And you guys also help from an emotional standpoint. And I think one of the two best emotions, and one was good and one is bad, when you're going through cancer as a little kid, is you want to feel loved. And one thing you don't want to feel is alone. You want to feel loved, and then you don't want to feel alone. And the best way to feel loved is by having your parents there with you, your family there with you every step of the way. And so to have the ability for those parents not to have to work in order to put food on the table, but to understand they can go to the hospital with their children. They can be there for them. As a child, your mom's going to be there for you when you wake up from that surgery. You can sit on her lap while waiting in the waiting rooms before getting operated on. That goes so far. That goes so far. And not only that, but obviously the other emotional support you guys create is awesome, from the whole family to siblings and support groups and presence, and all that goes such a long way, because I also have a twin sister, which I'll talk about education real quick. My twin sister, who did not have cancer, but she was right there with it and right there with me in all this as well. And it was so special when people would obviously help me and give me the support, that they didn't forget about her as well. And she was always so, she's still there for me all the time. Obviously, we're a little older now, but growing up from an educational standpoint, it was so amazing to see how she would step up and bring me my homework from school when I was too sick to go to school. Sometimes, don't tell my teacher, she'd even do my homework. But the education standpoint is a really cool key you guys do as well, because you forget that life goes on for everyone else, and this kid's not in school. They're gonna have to learn eventually. They're gonna have a future after this. And so to make sure that they're still getting an education, they're still getting tutoring, they're still being brought along, and have people there nurturing that, even as they're going through cancer treatment, even if they don't feel like it, that they're doing something, progress themselves forward, that goes a long way. And it helped me become a good student, remain a good student, and graduate on honors in high school, which allowed me to go to USC and play football at USC. So those three keys, the financial, emotional, and education, it is so important to get past that cancer. And that's what I really want you guys to understand as donors tonight and families. And if you're going through cancer, that there is a life after this. There's a life after the cancer. There is going to be so many blessings that become because of this cancer, because of what you're going through. But understand that you are absolutely going to move past this and live an awesome life. And the financial and emotional and educational support you get now is only going to propel you forward in that. So you want to help these individuals and these families and kids out now, but you're helping them in their future as well. So understand that there is a beautiful life yet to come. I know I'm running out of time here, guys, but the last thing I really want to kind of talk about in overcoming adversity is gratitude. And Kirsten, I'll shout you out. I love on the bottom of Kirsten's email, she has a great quote. I never even heard this quote, but I always talk about gratitude, and I may use this from now on. But she says, gratitude helps make sense of the past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. And I love that. Gratitude is so important, guys, to understand that it's okay to feel sorrow. It's okay to feel anger. It's okay to feel frustration about cancer and what you're going through and the difficulties that come with it. I would never tell anyone to feel anything otherwise, because it does suck. But I don't want you guys, and I can put myself in this bag as well. I don't want you to let that frustration and that sorrow and that sadness overwhelm your minds and your hearts to the point then where you become blind to the blessings you still do have in life. Do not become blind to the blessings you still have in life. It'd be shameful for me to sit here and feel sorry and frustrated and angry about the one thing I don't have, which is my eyesight. It's okay that I do feel that way, but to always feel that way about the one thing I don't have in life would be shameful, because I still have so much to be grateful for. Again, I was telling you about my parents and everyone who's loved me and sacrificed so much for me. I have amazing support systems, amazing opportunities. I have so much to be grateful for. I don't want to just focus on the one thing I don't have. And so I know you're going through tough times right now. And all I'm asking is you take 10 seconds out of the day when you're feeling those strongest emotions of anger, sadness, and just remind yourself about the thing you may still do have in life. Or at nighttime, maybe write 3 things down you still are grateful for in life. Gratitude, they're coming to find out through scientific research, is a skill. It's not this inherited trait. It's not something that's in your genetics. It's a skill. And like any other skill, you have to practice at it to be good at it. So I encourage you and challenge you to practice gratitude. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change the way you look at life through more grateful eyes. And I promise you the life you are living and you see every day will change as well. Guys, I want to thank you guys so much. Talk about gratitude for what you do in the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation. I was so blessed to have caseworkers around me and friends and family who do what you guys do, but to have a structured organization that takes care of that and helps those families who don't know where to turn. I cannot tell you the impact it has, again, not only in the moment as they're going through the hard times, but in the future as well, looking back and seeing all those sacrifices, all that help, all that support has gotten me to where I am today. And all those kids who are going through that cancer, all those families are going to one day be in my shoes as well, looking back saying, if it weren't for you guys, they would not be where they are today either. So I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for doing that. Guys, focus on that setup and the setback, overcome that adversity, make that decision today. Don't make it tomorrow, make it today. Realize the support system you do have, even in this foundation, and be grateful for the things you still do have. Don't become blind to the blessings you still have in life. Thank you guys so much, and fight on.
Whew. Wow. Did I tell you? Thank you, Jake. You're amazing. And thank you for being such a great human. All right. Where do you go from there? I don't think we can go anywhere, but maybe we'll try by giving you raffle number 2. Yeah, we're going to work on that. Raffle number 2 is called a local basket. Now, it's got a $200 gift card to Intermezzo Wine Cask, a $50 gift card to the public market, and 1 access card. The bucket of names here. Stir the tiles, stir the tiles, stir the tiles, stir the tiles, and here we go. Ah, Donna. No, I'm kidding. She's one of the staff members, and she slipped me a 20, but I'm not going to do it. Congratulations to Jen Rosas. Thank you, Jen. All right. I also want to thank the people in this beautiful space. But also, we have Paul running the show. We have cameraman Matt. Both guys are tremendous. I just met them this afternoon, and they're wonderful. And we have Jenny over here. Jenny, she's really helpful, helping me with the pronunciations. And that's important. All right. As many of you know, this event was called Little Heroes. And Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation has always honored a child. Well, there's been nothing little about the last 12 months. But there have been heroes everywhere. Nowhere have our heroes been more evident than in the healthcare systems. So this year, we chose a big little hero, Cottage Health. Cottage Health. So the team at Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation, along with kids they support, created a video to demonstrate their gratitude and to honor Cottage Health through the journey of one of the kids that they've served. And I truly think you're going to love this.
Watching my daughter undergo cancer treatment was brutal. But from the moment we walked in through the doors, I knew she was going to receive outstanding care from Cottage Children's Medical Center.
I feel so incredibly lucky to live in the same community as Cottage Health. I'm here today because of the amazing care I received. Cancer no longer defines me. I'm 16 years old and a sophomore at Dos Pueblos High School, and I was Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation's very first Little Hero honoree. It is my great pleasure to present the 2021 Big Little Hero Award to Cottage Health. Thank you to everyone in the Cottage Health system for taking care of our community. We are so grateful.
Can one local healthcare system make a big difference? For Jasmine and her family, it made the biggest difference imaginable. Jasmine knows all about Cottage Health because Cottage Health saved her life. When Jasmine was just 1 year old, she was taken to Cottage Hospital. Her mother knew something was wrong. For months, they worked with the doctors to determine why Jasmine was so ill. On August 28th, 2001, Jasmine's family received the horrible news. It was cancer. For the next 7 months, Jasmine and her mother lived at Cottage Hospital in Santa Barbara. The nurses and staff at Cottage became family. During that time, social workers at Cottage Hospital connected Jasmine's family to Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation. Jasmine and her family never gave up. Together with her medical team at Cottage Hospital, Jasmine fought to keep hope alive. Jasmine went through 7 months of chemotherapy. The cure was almost as harsh as the disease. Chemotherapy left her almost completely deaf. Still, at the end of those long months, Jasmine victoriously rang the end of chemo bell. It was time for her to live. And she lived. Jasmine danced, she played sports, she made friends, and she attended TBCF support group where she gave hope and support to other children with cancer. Jasmine and her family were so grateful to the medical team at Cottage Hospital. She spoke on behalf of Cottage Health on the radio and was their featured child. Little did she know, her journey wasn't over. On July 3rd, 2016, Jasmine collapsed and was rushed back to Cottage Hospital emergency room. The news wasn't good. She was 15 years old. Jasmine was placed in a medically induced coma and was cared for by the staff at Cottage Hospital for 3 weeks. When she awoke, she couldn't speak, walk, or eat. She had a tracheotomy and a shunt in her brain. She had to start over and relearn everything. But Jasmine was determined. She never gave up. She attended rehab at Cottage Rehabilitation Hospital and returned to high school, where she was awarded the Outstanding Senior of the Year. Jasmine is now in college and will apply to nursing school in the fall. Her dream is to be an oncology nurse and help other families fighting cancer at Cottage Hospital.
My name is Jasmine Castro. I am 20 years old now, and I can tell you how grateful I am for all the love and support I receive from everyone at Cottage Health. They literally saved my life so many times, and I will never forget the care I received. And I intend to pay it forward one day and help other cancer patients. Thank you for being an inspiration to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Cottage, for taking such care of me.
I am now 11 years cancer-free, and it is because of your care that I am a strong and healthy 16-year-old. You truly were the brightest light in one of the hardest times for my family. I cannot thank you enough.
On behalf of my entire family, I would like to thank Cottage Health for the amazing care they gave my sister and for the support that they provided for my family throughout her diagnosis. It is because of the care and love that I saw the nurses give my sister that I am now pursuing a career as a registered nurse. I began nursing school in March at DePaul University in Chicago, and I want you to know that Cottage Health will forever be my biggest inspiration. Thank you,
Cottage Health. I am so grateful for everything you guys have done for me. I am currently almost 3 years cancer-free, and I am at UCLA studying political science. I am incredibly grateful to have such amazing care so close to home, and I just want to say I'm eternally grateful for everything you've done. Thank you.
It's because of their care for Jasmine and all the families in our community that Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation is awarding Cottage Health with the 2021 Big Little Hero Award. We are so grateful.
On behalf of all of us here at Cottage Children's Medical Center, the physicians, nurses, and staff, we really want to thank you for honoring us this way. It's unexpected and remarkable. Our partnership with the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation is really important to us. The tenets of what you do, the financial support for families, the emotional support for families, and the real efforts into keeping education stable and running for these children is of, well, it's really hard to express the importance of it to us, but we feel it every day. We are so very grateful. Thank you very much for all you do for us.
On behalf of Cottage Health, we are very honored to accept this prestigious award from the wonderful Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation. Every day at Cottage Children's Medical Center, we see the devastating effects that childhood cancer can have not only on the patient but their families as well. Because of our strong partnership with the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation, these most vulnerable families are able to receive both financial and emotional assistance throughout their cancer journey. So thank you, Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation.
Because of the partnership between Cottage Health and Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation, these children, our kids, are able to stay in the community for all of their treatment and also for their follow-up. We partner and work really closely with Teddy Bear to provide different events to support the families both inside the hospital and outside the hospital, such as the holiday parties, support groups, gift baskets, tutoring services, and so much more. It's rewarding for us because we're able to see the families outside of the hospital setting, which really means a lot to us and to the families. We're so fortunate to have Cottage Health here supporting our families here in the community and also supporting the nonprofits. So thank you again so much for honoring Cottage Health.
What an absolutely beautiful video and tribute. And that is only a snapshot of who our superheroes are at Cottage Health. We honestly could not do what we do at Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation without you. That being said, it is with great pleasure that I award the 2021 Big Little Heroes Award to everyone at Cottage Health. We not only appreciate you, we see you and your dedication and all that you do.
Yay! Cheers.
Yay. Cheers, person who I haven't introduced yet. Salud.
Cheers to Cottage.
Okay, so now speaking of family, we're at that portion of the program where you have the opportunity to not only show your support for the families that we serve, but to become an extended teddy bear family member. And so we're asking you to show your support at any level that is meaningful to you tonight. Now, that being said, you're going to hear this on a couple different occasions, but we really tried to make giving to Teddy Bear super convenient. In fact, while we were going over the video, I donated it. Literally took a matter of seconds. There are a variety of ways that you can give. Soon, everyone who provided their mobile number will get a text with a donate link. Use the donate link or text Teddy to
345-345.
If you're on your computer, check the donate button here or here or here or here somewhere. There is a donate button. Or my personal favorite is to call Tessa at our office at 805-617-0847. Or you could visit the world's greatest website, which is trending now, I hear, teddybearcancerfoundation.org.
A million views.
A million views, I'm sure. I mean, we have at least 2 or 3 million people viewing us now. I'm assuming you're all visiting our website and seeing how awesome we are. Okay, so the person that I just cheers with, for those of you that are familiar with Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation, she needs no introduction. She is a legend in the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation story. She is someone who, yes, is an amazing colleague and someone who I have a great deal of respect for and admiration. She is absolutely dedicated. Her story is extremely inspiring. It's very moving. She's going to tell it here in a second. She quite literally embodies everything that we stand for as an organization. Ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about Becca.
Well, thank you, Corey.
Yeah,
that wasn't awkward.
Now say something nice about me, please.
You're a gentleman and a scholar.
Oh my God, thank you so much. No, but seriously, I meant every word that I said, Becca.
Well,
you're an amazing person.
Thank you. And I wish we could all be in person tonight, but obviously we cannot. Alas, you're stuck with this. But we will do our absolute best to make this entertaining and also let everybody know about the incredible programs that we offer. And like Corey mentioned, I started off as a recipient of Teddy Bear's services when I was diagnosed with cancer as a teenager here in Santa Barbara. And meeting our founder, Nikki Katz, and I was treated at Cottage Hospital. They were amazing. And Teddy Bear's services really just changed my life, honestly. And hence, I'm still here. So circling back to Cottage again, we love Cottage. We love working with Cottage. Our founder, Nikki, started off as a volunteer there on the pediatrics floor and actually started developing our programs by just having conversations with parents on the floor that had a child battling cancer and seeing what their needs were. So we are so honored, Nikki, to carry on your baton, and we hope that you as a viewer can help us carry on ours tonight. Super quick, cheers to Nikki.
Cheers to Nikki.
You are amazing and we love you.
You are amazing. We love you. And this dry martini, for those of you watching, this does have olives in it, so basically it's for medicinal purposes. Okay, so we heard about Nikki's big dream, and here we are living it out nearly 20 years later. Speaking of dreaming big, we are going to now break down for you how your donation is actually an investment through our mission to actually transform many wonderful families' lives. So we're going to actually talk about dreaming big right now. I have a major ask. And by the way, if you're able to donate at this major ask, it's going to get weird in here. It's going to get weird, awesome weird, but it's going to get weird in here. So let's start it out at, I don't know, $10,000. If you donate, let me tell you something. If they donate, if someone out there donates $10,000, I'll put on our teddy bear costume and literally pick up the check from your house. I mean, if it's like within driving distance, like 15 or so miles, but I'll come and pick $15,000. I won't do it. 20,000, we'll meet somewhere in the middle. So let's start things out, though, with the $5,000 amount. That is still a game-changing donation. What we're going to be talking about and outlining here is we're going to be enlightening you, the viewer, on the day-to-day stressors, as if it's not devastating enough to have a child with cancer. There are all these different stressors that are swirling around families' lives. And that's where Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation comes in. In fact, for a $5,000 donation, Becca, what could we do for a family with $5,000?
So for $5,000, we can help cover the cost of rent, utilities, car payments, groceries, gas, the things that typically you would normally be able to cover. But when a child is diagnosed with cancer, a parent, if not both, have to take time off work or even quit their job to be with their child. And so at the time of initial diagnosis, we can offer $5,000 to just help alleviate those stressors. So a $5,000 donation can help support one family.
Yeah. And it's interesting because as you're outlining these are the nuances. If you've never experienced what it is like to have a child with pediatric cancer in your family, there are just so many stressors that are impacting their life. That is one of the things to me that has been the most eye-opening. The other thing has been this popular misconception of Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation. Just because we have this adorable, huggable name, people think that all we do is merely hand out teddy bears. That is not what we do. In fact, as the viewer, you could help us dissolve this stigma that, the Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation, they hand out teddy bears. Tell them, take a little bit of wine, splash it in their face, say, no, that's not what they do. They offer real, practical, life-saving support to families. Now, don't get me wrong. Teddy bears are adorable, but they do not pay the rent. They do not keep the lights on.
But a donation tonight can help do just that.
Wow, I love that transition, Becca. It's like you're
Thanks.
seriously like a true pro at this. So we heard what $5,000 could do. Could you please educate us on what $2,500 could do for a family?
So after an initial diagnosis and we can step in for that $5,000 mark, let's say a family has a child that then relapses, and that's terrifying. And at that time, they are going to have to start all over again. And so we can step in and help with another $2,500 of financial aid for a family. We actually have a new funding tier that we just launched this year for families that are in need of bone marrow transplants for their child. Typically, a bone marrow transplant, a child is in the hospital with one parent for months as they're healing and going through this process. At that time, we can offer an additional $2,500 of financial aid. And then, of course, in the most tragic of cases, we offer another $2,500 for funeral expenses. So just in our financial stability program alone, which is one of the three core programs that we offer, a family could receive upwards of $12,500 of financial aid.
So what I'm hearing you say is that basically through our programs, we help families every step along the way. We're there for all of the hard moments. And of course, we're there for the celebrations and successes, which we'll get to in a minute. But basically, our three programs help. I mean, they truly do have an impact. In fact, as we're outlining what it is that we do as an organization with such precious resources from these donations, they're starting to pour in. So I want to give a shout out to Drew McClure, Jamie Hansen, both for donating $103. Oh, it's Jamie Hansen from our board. I'm seeing a lot of board members step up here tonight. Yay. Thank you so much. Seriously, we love you guys.
I want to throw out a couple shout outs.
No, you do you. I'm just your co-host.
I've been writing them down. So Adriana, I saw your donation. Thank you so much. We love you. Heather Ayer and April Norman, our co-chairs. Thank you so much for your donation. Bob Kammer, you are amazing. Thank you so much for your donation. Melinda Gundino, she is one of our support group therapists. Thank you so much. Jenny Tasca, Stuart Boyce, Tessa's dad, thank you for donating. Gillian Esparza is one of our teddy bear moms. Thank you so much, Gillian. She and her daughter Violet just put together tons of Easter baskets for our families
That's our
and
supporters.
dropped them off to our office yesterday. My buddy Tessa, my buddy Erica, thank you. There's so many more, too many to list right now.
Right now, but we will throughout the rest of the night. And as you're contextualizing where these donations go, Becca, could you explain to us what $1,500 could do? Actually, let me put you on the spot. What could $1,500 do, let's say, through our educational advocacy program?
Well, Corey, our educational advocacy program, we love this program. We want to be able to support, don't make me laugh. Oh my God.
Even know, I can't help it. That's just my face. Okay. But please.
We want to be able to support our families through their education journey. When I was diagnosed with cancer, I missed my entire junior year of high school. And so for us to be able to have this program, we can offer professional bilingual tutors that will be willing to go to a family's home, to the hospital that they're located at and having chemo at, or virtually on Zoom right now for COVID. So they can offer tutoring to help them get back on track with their education. And we also offer neuropsychological testing about 6 months after a child finishes their treatment that tests for side effects of chemotherapy, and then again, just helps them get back on track with their education.
And whatever you're saying, Becca, it is working. I want to shout out to Hale Price. Thank you so much. Angela Miller-Bevan, thank you so much. We see you. We appreciate you. To the rest of you that are on the edge of your seat, on pins and needles, I wish they would just remind us how we can donate once again. Here's how you do it. Literally, this is how I did it. I just put in my phone, I text Teddy to
345-345. Now, Corey.
Yes, Becca.
Could somebody perchance donate $345?
Don't make me laugh, Becca. Maybe it was $345.345. Maybe they could do it that way.
That'd be cool.
The other way that you can donate as well, as I've mentioned before, visit our website at teddybearcancerfoundation.org. Call Tessa at our office at 805-617-0847. Martin Gore, I have a big sign that was just held up. I have a Stop the Presses cue card. Thank you, by the way, Kirsten, who's yes. She's been womaning the cue card. She is a brilliant, dedicated staff member. Thank you. Martin, $2,500. Seriously. Thank you, my friend. That means a lot to us.
I see Tyler Dobson and Serena Hunt, Sheila's daughter. Thank you, Serena.
Now, as these donations are coming in, please, Becca, can you illuminate what $500 would do for a family?
Sure. So I know we gave a shout out to Melinda who donated earlier. She is one of our incredible support group facilitators. She is amazing. And we are so fortunate to work with a handful of incredible nonprofits in the Tri-Counties that put together our support groups for our families. Right now, COVID is really hard just on the community in general. And then imagine having to deal with COVID on top of dealing with a pediatric cancer diagnosis. Our support groups, we actually doubled the amount of groups that we're offering both last year and this year. We also would normally take a break in the summer. We eliminated the break. We want to be able to provide as much support as we possibly can for the families who truly need it. So right now we're offering Spanish parent groups, English parent groups, teen groups, kids groups. And then when we are, fingers crossed soon, able to be back together in person, we also offer our families a free dinner and free childcare as well. And Jasmine, who you saw in the video earlier, she is just a superhuman of a person. We love her so much. She has been attending our groups for 17 years.
Wow, that is dedication. Speaking of dedication, I'm seeing a lot more dedicated donors that are stepping up here, including Stacy Lopez at $100, Shannon Peralta at $100.
Aw, and Kat Krasnoff, I love you, Kat. And Peter Martin, you are amazing. Thank you so much. Also, Tyler Dobson. I saw Tyler Dobson's donation come in. And I also saw some more of our board members who recently donated.
Our board, they are dedicated. That is a good group of people. Okay, so yes, I am getting the get back to the queue card sign. Listen, at any point as we're going through the rest of the night, note that as we get to these different amounts, you can always push the other button and go back. Perhaps we're at the 250 mark, wink, which we're about to be. You could always go back and say, like, you know what? I was going to do 250. I'm going to be that guy or gal that's going to get $10,000 or $5,000. All you need to do is push the other button. But let's get back to the $250 mark. Becca, please explain to us what $250 can do for a family.
Sure, Corey. So for $250, you can help support a family when they are, let's say, living in Santa Barbara, but maybe their child is being treated at Children's Hospital Los Angeles or at Stanford. And we've even had families that live in the Tri-County, so we're able to serve them, but maybe they're even treated on the East Coast because that's where they need that specialty support. So in those cases, $250 can help cover the cost of a hotel stay so that a family just doesn't have to worry about driving back and forth as much, or if their child is even in the ICU or having a really difficult time and you want your family there, you don't want to have to worry about where you're going to stay. So $250 could cover the cost of a hotel stay. Speaking of traveling, when our families are going to these hospitals, they're traveling multiple times a week. And let's say that their car breaks down, we can step in and help them cover the cost of those expenses. Or if they are in need of gas and even other expenses that you wouldn't necessarily even think about, such as parking.
Yeah, and once again, Becca, seriously, thank you for laying this out because we have more donations that are coming in here. BB and Bill Pisso, $500. Thank you so much. That is so incredibly generous.
Thank you, guys. And David Edelman, we didn't forget about you. We saw you.
Good human being, by the way. I seriously love that, man. So now we are reaching our final tier of the night, the $100 amount. Now, this will be the final time that I lay this out for you, but to give at the $100 level or push the other button, you can text Teddy to
345-345.
or call Tessa at 805-617-0847.
She is super cool, by the way. You're going to want to talk to her.
She's an incredible human being. And yeah, listen, as we're at our final tier tonight, understand we take every dollar that you invest very seriously. And it covers all of these various random stressors that families are coping with on top of having a child with pediatric cancer. In fact, Becca, what are one of those random costs that $100 could cover for a family?
Sure. So something that families might even not think about when their child is first diagnosed is food. And so $100 could help cover the cost of 15 cafeteria meals, for example. So sometimes a family might just be going in for a checkup, and let's say their kid ends up having a fever. They have to immediately get rushed into the hospital, and they could actually stay there for a month if it's progressing. So during those situations, we want to be there and help cover those random expenses as well, such as food. And I know we talked a little bit earlier too about how we love being around for celebrations and successes and just loving on our kids. And one of those is our end of chemo parties. They are the most fun and the most amazing party in the entire universe.
That's where they ring the bell?
That's where they ring the bell. And anybody from Cottage who is watching knows how amazing our end of chemo parties are with Cottage. We love them. And so you can help support end of chemo parties and gifts and stuff for the kids, decorations. And let's talk birthdays. Kids love birthdays, and it really sucks if you have to be in the hospital on your birthday. So $100 could also help cover the cost of some birthday gifts for our kids. We can go and decorate and just kind of make their day a little bit brighter.
And speaking of gifts, the gifts continue to come in. I want to thank Timmy, Betty, $100. Christine McElroy, thank you, $25. Thank you so much. Yeah, so continue to donate. Again, text Teddy to 345 or call our office at 805-617. No, you do you. You do. You finish your crossword, and we will get around to this when we get around to it. Call up our office at 805-617-0847.
I wanted to thank Joe Shields.
I know.
I love Joe. Thank you, Joe Shields. We love you. Thank you for your donation. Thank you, Carolyn Shepard-Baham. Gosh, the list is really long, and we really, really appreciate it. So $100 can also help support our Project Holiday programs. It's one of our most beloved programs. Even this weekend is Easter. So we have been working tirelessly on collecting Easter baskets from the community. Thank you to everybody who's already donated baskets and to all of our incredible volunteers that will be going out this whole weekend and delivering over 200 Easter baskets to our Tri-County family homes.
Wow. That is really the only word that I can think of right now in terms of this overall experience. We're now at the end of the show, and before I turn it back over to our legend, who is our MC tonight, Brian, I want to thank you again, Becca. This has been a joy. I want to thank the entire staff who are behind the scenes, all masked up, by the way. You guys have been amazing. I absolutely love this teddy bear family. They've been so hospitable and accommodating my first few months here. This truly is an amazing organization, and the services that they provide are absolutely effective. And I promise you have my word that every dollar we spend with a great deal of responsibility and care. So thank each one of you here tonight. 6 feet, Becca.
I'm sorry. I also just want to thank everybody because I've been seeing names on here. Some of you have been here since the beginning of Teddy Bear. And I mean, your support is so incredible, and it means everything, not only to our staff, but to our families. And we truly mean that from the bottom of our hearts. So thank you so much.
And thank you in closing to Leslie Robinson, who just snuck in a $500 donation. And by the way, you know, and what I'm thinking about the Indiana Jones where he's like running from the boulder and he just sneaks. You don't have that sort of scenario. You can give at any time. So even as we're about to finish here tonight, note that we're here for the long haul. And so you can give at any time. Visit our website to stay tuned to all the amazing, fun, important work that we're doing at teddybearcancerfoundation.org, or find us on our Facebook. With that being said, as you are donating, by the way, don't forget to check out. There's a checkout button. Seems like a random note to end on, but nevertheless, thank you. We love you so much. We're going to go catch our breath, finish our martinis, and hand it back over to you, Brian.
Yay.
Hey, thanks, man. And you know, that's Dr. Corey. He has some martinis and he gets really, really wordy. Thank you, Corey. Thank you, Becca. Wonderful job. You guys should actually do a TV morning show, a wake-up show. But the way you're sucking down the martinis, you could call it Hair of the Dog, Santa Barbara. Well done. So much fun. All right, it is time now. I want to cheer for this raffle number 3. No cheer? Now I'm asking for the cheer, and I'm not getting it. That's amazing. All right, raffle number 3. This is pretty cool. You get a $100 gift card, and I'm going to pronounce this right because I've been practicing. A $100 gift card from Olio e Limone. Did I do that right? Mm-hmm. I did? Awesome. Longtime supporters of Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation. So here we go. I'm stirring the tiles. I'm stirring the tiles. And this is the name, Andrew Miller. All right, Andrew Miller. Look, on behalf of everyone here at Teddy Bear Cancer Foundation, thank you for supporting the work these people do, the hard work these people do every single day in this wonderful community. If you weren't able to make a donation tonight, or if you'd like to make a monthly donation, please go to the website. Oh, and don't forget to check out before you leave. We need your money. We want it. Give us money. Thank you. Folks, it has been my privilege to be here with you tonight. And I wish you all a peaceful, healthy, and happy evening. Oh, and make sure you wear your masks so we can get together next year and actually touch and hug and just be with each other. Thank you for joining us. Have a great night and be good humans.
Thank you. Salud, Bear.
Salud.
My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own.
But they're not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken.
In the end, only kindness matters.
In the end, only kindness matters.
And the end, only kindness matters. I will get down on my knees and I will pray. I will get down on my knees and I will pray. I will get down on my knees and I will pray.
I will get down on my knees and I will pray.
My hands are small, I know, but they're not yours, they are my own. But they're
not yours, they are my own, and I am never broken.